Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be giving a story behind a certain painting on Citadel Gate. You may have seen this painting before or you may have not. To be fair, you were probably focusing on capturing the point and defeating your enemy, as for I was sadly too focused on looking at paintings and brick walls. The interesting thing about this painting is when we look at the bottom we can clearly see it's a start of a European castle, but when we look up it starts to change more into an Asian themed castle. In this video I'm going to be breaking down this painting and discussing how it may have got here in Citadel Gate and what the story behind this painting could be. A painting done rapidly in watercolor on a wet plaster on a wall or ceiling so that the colors penetrate the plaster and become fixed as it dries. This type of painting is known as a fresco. I'll get to how I know that later in the video. We are first going to be taking a look at the Asian themed fortress on the top of the painting. There are two main Asian cultures in Forhonor, the Wulin representing the Chinese, the Dawn Empire representing the samurai. But there are other references to other Asian cultures in the game. For example, Griffin uses Korean themed armor, but I will not be counting any references like that because they are not a playable faction or they do not have any heroes in the game. Now we must figure out who does this castle belong to. I believe this fortress belongs to the samurai. I have two good points to prove it. The map was here before the Wulin were added. My second point is that Chinese didn't really build multi-level fortresses like that very often, while they were common in Japan. There are some other differences between a Chinese castle and a Japanese castle. Chinese castles encompass the whole city, while Japanese castles were mainly a part of the city. The painting may share some architectural features, may include a defensive moat, thick stone walls, seen at Osaka Castle and Nagoya Castle. Shooting holes for arrows and guns. Unfortunately, Forhonor Samurai do not have guns just yet. Stone dropping windows and a complex inner layout to confuse intruders. It's harder to see the finer details of the samurai castle in the painting due to it being really small and very blurry. So here's an image of what we should expect to see in the samurai castle in the painting and what an average samurai castle would look like and what it would have. Now we've figured out what faction owns this castle, let's go a step further. What clan owned this? Before we answer that question, we need to figure out something first. Was this painting done before or after Apollyon's War? To find this information we must go back and play the night campaign, the second mission. The painting is still there, so this tells me that this was done before Apollyon's War. This was important because the castle itself looks like the Imperial Palace to me. As we know, the Imperial Palace was taken over by Seijuro, then Ayu. Now knowing that this painting was done before Apollyon's War, it's safe to say the Imperial House is in control. We do not know who is the leader of the Imperial House, however we do know who serves this house. Fujikiyo, Tozen, and Teramori. Now we know what clan possibly owns this castle, let's look at the lower part of the painting. We can tell the structures down below on the painting are European, specifically European knights. We can see that some of the structures on this painting are on Citadel and other knight maps. Another detail to take a look at is that we can see minions or warriors on the top part of the bridge. One of them looks like they're using a poleaxe. A poleaxe is a European polearm that was widely used by the medieval infantry in the 15th century. The poleaxe was designed for hacking, stabbing, and piercing armor plates. Now we know it's clearly European themed structure or castle down below. Now the hard part comes into play. What Knight Legion owns this, or what Knight Legion took over this place? I originally thought it could have been Domini's militia. When taking a look at the warriors on the bridge, we can clearly see that they are somewhat a lightish blue. Domini's group is surprisingly as well lightish blue. This would have made sense that this could have been Domini's group, but we run into a big issue. Because we know that this painting takes place before the Blackstone Legion, this also means that this can't be Domini's group. From the lore, we know that Domini was part of the Blackstone Legion, left and made Domini's militia. Now we know that it's not Domini's militia, we have to try and figure out whose legion or militia it could have been. I have 3 candidates. We do not know what leader they have, we do not know if they are a legion or militia, all we know about them is what their banner looks like. The first one I'd like to show you is of red, yellow and gold with a deer and a crown. The second one is of light blue, white and red of some type of dragon or hawk creature. The next one is blue, white, red and yellow with 2 horses on it. It could be any one of these legions or militias, but if I were to say which one it could be, it would be the second option because of the light blue.
Yo, what's up guys, it's Editor Man here. I was getting clips for the video and thought of something the General didn't. What if the other paintings in the room include the same legion that's in our weird painting? So I looked at the other paintings on the wall and, hey look, this one's got the same or similar flags. Looking at a version of the flag with more than 2 combined pixels, this flag actually looks similar to another's. But in order to get there, we have to travel really far away. And it's actually right outside the dome with the paintings. So anyway, there's actually one major difference between this flag and the one in the paintings. You see, the flags in the paintings don't have any symbols, which gives me my own idea of what this painting could mean. But I'll save that for the second last segment. Other than that, what the hell legion does this flag even belong to? At first I thought it could be some really religious legion that owns all the night religious stuff in Heathmoor, or just a way to denote religious/sacred/historically significant grounds, with the dome being one of those. The reason I thought this was because the only other time I remember seeing this flag was in the cathedral map. Except the only problem with that theory is if we look literally immediately right past the tower. A giant version of that flag is hanging above the gate. So I guess I'm blind or an idiot or some kind of both. Maybe the flag denotes military camps, bases or SMTN IDK. Anyway, I've been here for too long, so I'll leave before you guys start demanding that I replace Fuji permanently. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel at...
Let us do a quick recap. We figured out the top part of the painting is a Japanese castle that may belong to the imperial family or another clan. The castle itself may be the imperial palace or a different castle. We also found out that this painting was here before Apollion's War. Now for the bottom part of the painting, we figured out that it belongs to the knights. We also tried to figure out that it belongs to an unknown legion that may have disappeared or could still be around. Now I'm going to go into my theories about how the painting got here and what the history behind it may be. After that, I have a special message from one of the concept artists that worked on the painting. My first theory is that maybe this unknown legion tried to prove themselves by capturing and controlling a samurai castle. They did so successfully for the time because the samurai were maybe unaware of this attack. But being surrounded by multiple other clans and castles in the Maya, they were soon to be overwhelmed and forced to retreat back. As a victory, they decided to paint their triumph against the samurai and capturing one of their castles. My second theory is that we know that the samurai weren't really fighting with the knights or the Vikings until Apollion's War. So it may be possible that the samurai gave a gift to the knights as a mutual respect or a partner of trade. Over time, the knights didn't really particularly care for this painting, so they decided to paint over it. But because of Heathmoor's harsh weather and environment, the painting started to erode and became a mix-mash of both the paintings that were there. My third theory is that the imperial family or another clan that owns that castle was under attack by the Vikings or a samurai rebellion. Unable to repair their castle and to hold off this attack, they asked help from the knights to repair the parts of their castle and to defend it for the time being. After this event was done, they decided to paint this moment as a sign of respect between the knights and the samurai and some form of alliance.
Right, so basically since the flags and shields have no symbols, I thought that maybe this was a depiction of the first Night Legions or something. I'm pretty sure that I remember hearing that the knights cut contact with their homeland, so they probably semi-united under this greenish-blue color, maybe because they couldn't agree on a symbol. Later, they separated into different legions, and then eventually reunited under their reformed homeland's legion, the Iron Legion. How does this explain the painting, you ask?
We were lucky enough to get in contact with Maxime Desmettre. He is a professional concept artist and illustrator from France. He's worked on many Ubisoft titles. The games that he's worked on are Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare, Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed 2, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Conviction, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and Assassin's Creed Unity, as well as Life After and the one we all know and love, Forhonor. You may have seen some of his concept art around the internet. Now here's some as an example. He said that he actually worked on this image 6 to 7 years ago before it was used into the game as a fresco. As you know, the game is about different fighting art forms, and this image was an attempt to illustrate a knight fortress that would have been taken and reoccupied by the samurai faction. They would have rebuilt the dungeon/keep in their samurai way. I think this image was then selected by the team to be used as a fresco painting on one of the walls. Maybe it's not logical, and this can be seen as a way to tease future maps that would be playable in a Japanese fortress, like the team did later. Initially, the image was created as a concept art to explore possible ideas. The last thing that Maxime Desmettre said was to subscribe to Fujikiyo. Well, he didn't, but you should do that either way. The story behind this painting went against most of my theories. I guess that shows you how much faith I have in the samurai faction this year. Maxime Desmettre did point out something that is very interesting, this to be a Easter egg painting for a future map. Unfortunately, I don't think it will be added because it has been in the game for a very long time, this Easter egg. But it could have been a reference to a map that they would have done, but unfortunately they may have not had the time or the resources to make this map. A big thank you to Maxime Desmettre. I am sorry that I butchered your name so badly, but please go check out his Instagram. He posts some amazing concept art, and I really highly recommend you guys take a look at it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more of this, I have done a similar video on a painting on Market Town. I would highly recommend go watching that. If you did enjoy this content, don't forget to tell me in the comments down below, and if there's anything else like this you'd like me to talk about. Now with that out of the way, I'll see you next time, and don't forget to like and subscribe.